Howdy y'all, it's Aaron here. Today, this episode is for all of y'all who have a lower budget but still want to generate real sales for your clothing store. As always, make sure that you grab something to take notes with and stick around to the end where I'm going to share with you the setup you need to have in place to generate real sales with a lower budget. Number one, do not discount your products. There'll always be those who tell you to lower your price of your products to take up market share. But what happens when someone new joins the market and then tries to beat you at your prices? What does this have to do with Facebook ads? Absolutely everything. So having a great return on your advertising starts with a highly profitable product. So even if you acquire a customer for $20, which is great, if you only make 15, you cannot scale, you lose money. 15 from 20 is 5. 20 minus 15 is 5. No matter how you do it, you're losing money. Not to mention, if you sell at a discount, people are going to come back and only shop with you if they know that there's going to be another sale or a discount. The race to the bottom is short, and honestly, it's not really that much fun. All right, guys, before we cover number 2, I just want to say howdy. My name is Aaron. I'm one of the co-founders here at BitBranding, and we're an e-commerce growth agency that specializes in helping clothing stores grow and scale profitably online. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of the latest strategy for clothing stores. We drop new content for you every single week. All right, so number 2 is to set your website up with collections. So the strategy I'm gonna share with you in Ads Manager is going to be so much more successful if you can send people to a specific page to browse versus some generic page. Collections help you stand out and are way more attractive versus then sending people to the new arrivals page. Now, we've done this, I'm guilty of that, no problem with it, but you've gotta start doing something a little bit different. So this is a great website to glean some inspiration off of. All right, so this page, I would just want to show that this brand's amazing at what they do, but let's just look at the specifics here of the collection. So we'll go to the collection page. I know that this Lounge Around Town one is doing really well right now, but the way that I want you to set up your campaign is, or your website rather, is that you have a collection page that you can send people to, because even if they can see your products, they can still go through here and browse and see so many different options. She's got, 20 some odd options just within this particular collection, so that you can make a purchase, or they can actually browse and actually see other things besides just the one product or 2 products that somebody saw on a Facebook ad. If you send them to the new arrivals, it may be a disconnect with language, and maybe a disconnect with the product photography, maybe a disconnect with something. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't work because we've done it before, but what I am saying is that if you have a lower budget, you don't have any wiggle room to waste. You need to be focused on sending people to a collection page with very specific language so they can make purchases. So I promise we're going to get into the actual ad strategy. We're going to get into Ads Manager, but you need to have these things in place, especially with that lower budget. So think about it as a bucket with a ton of water, and it's got a ton of holes in it, right? The water's going to leak out. If you have a bigger budget, what would happen is that you're going to get a lot of water in that bucket, and they may have more opportunities to fill it just because of the volume, right? If you don't have as much water, if you don't have as much, I would say, dollars to spend, then it's even more important for you to be as effective with every single dollar as possible. Now, even if you are watching this video and you have an amazing budget, this video will still be effective for you because they're all the pieces that need to be in place to be effective. And if you add dollars to it, it's still going to work. This is just more to help those people that have a lowered budget, because I see a lot of the areas that they try to run ads and then they're missing in other areas of the business that are really hurting their ads for the long term. All right, so number 3 is to focus on creative that converts your who. So this is probably the only place that it's okay to discriminate online. What I mean is that you have to be very specific on who you are solving a problem for. So Domino's came out with an ad in the 1980s that they said they would have a hot and ready pizza delivered to you in 30 minutes, guaranteed. I'm pretty sure you may remember that, you may not, but what they didn't do, they didn't say that their pizza was amazing or that there was some kind of special recipe or that, anything else. What they did is they did focus on one audience and they dominated that audience. You have to do the same. Find out exactly who your target audience is and use their language to talk to them, speaking in generalities like, shop our latest new arrivals. They will not work. So if you've been following this channel much, you know that we continue to harp on creatives. I'm going to show you a couple of examples that you can use as great inspiration for the creative that we've made. Like I said, don't copy them, right? You're supposed to use them as inspiration. So let's jump over to Ads Manager. All right, so this is just one example here. Great photography. it is a graphic. Super simple, right? There's not too much to that. That's like the basic of standing out at this point. All right, here's another example of what's working right now. This is actually winter. This is just a lifestyle photo. It says Midwest. They are in the back of a field and there's green stuff in the background. So lifestyle photo, great example of something that you could use for yourself. Basketball, actually using a basketball there. Then we have here our collection video. I think this may be a TikTok video. Let me see here. Now this is a collection video. So as you can see, really quick motion to catch attention, really quick shots to actually focus on detail and focus on about 15 seconds long. We don't really care if they watch the whole thing, but there is a call to action to tell them to shop the winter collection. Note that I said winter collection. I would love for a better name, but at least they're doing a collection here. Another example here, I think this may also be yes, it is. So another collection style video, very similar, right? It's just quick moving shots focused on just stopping that scroll. The other piece of creative that we don't talk about as much at this channel, and we will eventually, is this section right here. So this is the other big piece, right? So 75% of your like stopping the scroll is gonna be with the creative in the actual photos or videos, but the copy is another great way to actually convert somebody. This, not the greatest copy, I would say here, right? We need to update this. I think this is actually pretty generic. We needed to test this, but what we're doing right now is we're testing just the videos and photo side of things, and then once that's working well, we test the actual headlines and descriptions. So if you're looking at priority-wise, it would go headline, it would go creative, then the headline or the copy, and then the primary text for the description. So that's just kind of order of importance. Let me show you one other spot with some good creative here. So this one, right here, you can see some graphics, but what most of this is right in this particular campaign is user-generated content. This is all content created by people who love the brand. It's a great way for you to actually stick out and not have to create your own content. You can have influencers or just really, I guess in this particular case, really happy moms who want some free product. But there is a video that we created here. This is more of a collection style video. I would say a little bit more in depth because they have actual graphics on the screen and they gave us some footage to show that just weren't for photography either. So anytime you can have movement in this, that you're gonna be better off, right? If you just use images to create your collection videos and just get movement, it's like level 1. Level 2 will take you to a whole different spot, but regardless, this is I would say good enough to do really well here. So those are just some examples of creative. Like I said, don't necessarily copy them, just use them as inspiration. User-generated content, collection content. TikTok does really well here, graphics, but do something and do not use stock photos. All right, so before I break down the rest of the strategy and how to set up these next 2 campaigns, I wanted to tell you about our free masterclass training for clothing stores that will walk you through the 5 pillars that you must have in place for your online store to scale consistently and profitably online. So if you want that training, it's less than 20 minutes. Check out the link in the description down below. All right, so this is how you would want to set up your latest campaign if you do not have the biggest budget. So I believe that this campaign, let me see here, it's not spending too much. It's spent $140 so far. So not a major budget per day. This is a CBO. This is a brand new campaign. And what happened with this one in particular is that their business manager and the pixel kind of got disconnected. So even though they got disconnected, it still has $34 purchases. It's actually going to drop. I think it's probably doing a lot better today than previously, but this is a new campaign. So the actual campaign setup, everything like that, you can run that to your most effective audience. For you guys, if you have a lower budget and you don't have customer data meaning you have 1,000 purchases on your store or 1,000 contacts, if you do have those, then create a lifetime value list of that and run an ad to it. If you don't, find the interest of the brands that you most resonate with and we'll run an interest campaign in the short term. Eventually you will get out of that, and that's kind of a video for another time. That is actually, you should check out that video right here. This is how to set up Facebook ads, and that will walk you through exactly how to do it once you figure out the interest side of things, because interest is a very short-term play, and I don't want to even talk about it much more because it is not something I suggest long-term. So inside of here though, what you can do is set up a dynamic carousel. A dynamic carousel it's really, I would say, the most effective way for you to run your ads. You can only do one set of copy, and you can only do one product feed. But what it does is it actually allows people to dynamically see your products and view the products and then go and make a purchase. And if you have Facebook Shop set up, they can actually shop and purchase right there. Your website doesn't have to be as effective, although it should be if they do decide to go to your site. So what they can see here is, like, for this particular one, I think that it's like it's their new collection, I guess. New winter collection is what it's called. So they're showing all products from their winter collection. One thing that I would suggest from theirs, though, is that they need to have themselves in the actual products. Like we said it earlier, right? Don't use stock photography. But what it does is it shows all of the products in here, and they can scroll. And this is probably one of those things where you went down a rabbit hole where you just keep scrolling and looking at products. There could be 50, 100, 150 different products in this collection, and people are able to view products that make sense to them, and it's a great user experience. For whatever reason, it's really cheap for you to run ads right here because Facebook can get all the data that it needs, because you aren't necessarily leaving Facebook until you click to make a purchase. You actually spend more time on the ad. What I would suggest, though, is that you just make sure that this domain is set up correctly. It looks like it was, just maybe got disconnected. Here we go. There we go. And test out your your copy here. For me, right, this shop all new winter styles. You would want to be testing the new creative here or the new copy here versus just putting something out there that just says shop new, right? You want to talk to your specific audience. This may be their audience, and this may work for them. Another good option here is that you put the call to action and have the URL so that it goes to the latest collection, and then make sure that it goes to send people to your website. Sometimes you can send people to your app and they can make a purchase there if you do have an app, and you can also have an option for them to go to the instant experience. But again, both of those things don't really track as much data. You would want to send them to your website. So you create a product feed inside of here, and the product feed will show the price, the product, and they'll be able to scroll through it. You can see here what it would look like on Instagram, what it would look like on Facebook Marketplace, video feeds. There you go. And then what you can do here, you can actually edit the creative. So make sure that your photos are not cropped off. I have seen this several times where the people's heads are cut off or their legs. They're showing jeans and you only see part of the jeans on there. So make sure that you use this option here, the creative tools. And you can do a slideshow too. We just happen to use the single image option for the catalog. What's cool though is that if something goes out of stock, it's gonna dynamically update and you won't have to worry about checking inventory, and you can run this ad for a long period of time. The downfall here is that you will never gain social proof because it's dynamically updating. It's not like a single post ad where you can keep social proof and a lot of people can comment and say, is something in stock or is it not in stock, or I love this brand. So that is the downfall. However, if you have a limited budget, which is what this whole video is around, this is a great way to run campaigns. It's also a great way to run campaigns if you are retargeting, right? So if somebody visits your site and you want to run ads to those people who view those products, or top of the funnel, just to get as many fun products in front of as many new people as possible as well. So that's the one campaign I would suggest for you to set up. If you are able to set up more, right? If you have more than $100 a day, then you need to check out some of our other videos on the best types of campaigns to set up if you have a budget. This is for people, I believe, who have $50, maybe $25 per day being like the lowest, just so you can actually get some purchases and start to actually see some results. All right, so now the only piece that you're missing to grow effectively with this strategy right here with a limited budget is to be able to see your blind spots. So Facebook is seeing about 20 to 30% less than what they were seeing pre-iOS, meaning that like the data privacy issues where Facebook said, we are no longer able to share to Shopify or whatever else because Apple was basically getting in a fight with them. The solution is one that we have found recently called TripleWhale. This allows you to see all of the data within your Shopify store, whether it's inside of Ads Manager, whether it's inside of Google Analytics. It will help you attribute where the sales are coming from and be able to track effectively. The technical term here is called site server tracking. The best way to illustrate this is back in the 80s or 90s or at any point, right? You could play the game of telephone and you had two cups in the middle was a piece of string. And what happened with the iOS update is they cut that string. So what TripleWhale does is it connects those two pieces of content again so that you can actually see the blind spots that are happening in your business. And as you begin to grow and scale, it's going to be even more effective for you to see those blind spots that you have in your business. So if you want to be able to see everything in depth inside of your business without running into blind spots, check out the link in the description down below. If you're somebody who watched this whole video and do have an actual budget and you're ready to scale your business to $1 million, check out this video right here. We break down behind the scenes of what you need to have in place to become $1 million clothing store. All right, guys, that's it for this week. Have an awesome day.